He rolled a 19, Brick Road.
Yeah.
Slow your roll a little bit on the slow. Oh, they're easy to avoid slashes.
Are you done interrupting me? Can I go back to my game now?
Yeah.
Thank you, Nodal. I'm glad that I have your permission to continue running my game. Adrex, you're up.
All right. Each of these spaces is 10 feet, right?
It's roughly 20 feet per space.
Roughly 20 feet.
Yeah, this is a relatively large ravine.
All right, then Adrex has to dash to get in here.
Okay.
Looks at the fighting pit. Looks excitedly at Birdie and says, "Do I get to fight in the fighting pit?" And that's the extent of it.
That's it?
Yeah.
So you guys have taken your eyes off Tetsushi and his daughter, who are still in this room.
Yeah, I guess so. Okay. Adrex can't see into that room.
You glance back?
Yeah.
They're still there.
Okay. It's
Adrex,
not me that's trolling you. I'm just saying.
Make an insight check.
Yeah. 13.
You notice Tetsushi is craning his neck. He's very intently watching the action that's happening in the room, at least what he can see from the doorway. But he's craning his neck off to the left, as though he's listening for something. That would be off in this direction. It doesn't look like he's going to make a break for it, though. It would be way too dangerous on his own. It's going to bring us to Raazu.
Raazu is going to close an attack with her whip.
Okay, that's going to trigger Red's held action.
That'll hit an armor class of 23.
That'll do it.
For 21 damage.
And another arrow sprouts out of his back again, right next to the one that was already there. Raazu closes in with her whip.
Yep. That's a 22 to hit.
22 will hit.
So let me throw some Paladin stank on that. I don't know why the D20. Oh, yeah, because bounding box. That is going to be 3 slashing damage.
Okay.
And 11 thunder damage.
So another peal of thunder crackles through the room as the general goes to his knees. His hand opens as his sword falls to the ground. And he's still glaring up at Red. And he says in Yuan-ti, "After you build your ladder, I hope you are crushed by what climbs down it." Then he falls forward. His face hits the dirt. He stops moving.
Raazu points to the other Malisons in the room.
There's only one left
dead.
alive.
Oh, is there?
What's that?
Yeah, the one up here was still alive.
Okay.
One of them had laid down his weapons, and the other one had not.
So there's 2 Malisons still alive?
No, only one. You've killed one, the general killed one, and the third is the one who laid down his weapon.
Raazu points to him and shouts out in common, "You gonna put up a fight?"
He doesn't seem to understand what you're saying.
Okay, that's gonna be the end of Raazu's turn.
He gets the gist of it. He's being shouted at by someone who just killed this general. What do you guys do with this remaining Malison?
Shoot him off.
You shoot him off?
I don't know. It's up to everybody else. I just like shooting NPCs off.
Red has no problem with just cutting his throat. Like, if you ask Red. In fact, Red is probably already moving towards him with a dagger on.
Okay. So Adrex and Birdie, you're standing there as this Malison sees Red comes towards him and glances back at the two of you and then reaches down to pick up his weapon that he had set down. Are you guys letting him go or are you cutting him down?
I mean, I'll shoot him in the back. I don't care.
So you're cutting him down?
Yeah, I don't care.
So after a few strokes, you cut down this final Malison. Raazu, in the pit.
Yeah.
The Goliath gets to his feet, and he's still grinning through bloodied teeth. He tells you, "So, how'd I do? Is it about what you expected?"
Still alive, aren't you? Raazu claps him on the shoulder. Calls out to Red. Red, can you unlock him?
So I don't get to fight in the fighting pit.
Birdie pats him on the back of the knee and says, "We'll find you a pit somewhere else. Don't worry, buddy."
What did I tell you about not taking opportunities?
Sorry, we had a problem with the slaves. Did you guys find Tatsushi?
Yeah, we got him right here.
And I'll-
And he turns around and realizes he's not in the room.
Adrex, he's
And
still
I'll,
out here. Yes.
Yeah.
He and the daughter.
I'll head down and unlock the manacles on the Goliath.
Birdie will walk over and jump down and tell Red like what deal we struck with Tatsushi, like where we told him that like so for taking us to where the stuff is, he would show us how to destroy it, and that the three of us, me, Wendy, and Adrex, would not hurt him, but he wanted.
Red,
Yeah.
make that dexterity thieves tools check, and I need you to make either strength athletics or dexterity acrobatics.
Thieves' tools. 11. Plus 9. Thieves' tools is a 21, and then an athletic or acrobatics of. Nope. 7.
7?
Yep.
You break the manacles on this Goliath, and he rubs his raw wrists, and immediately grabs you up by the neck, and crushes you back up against one of the walls of this fighting pit. So that's going to put us on the initiative order at his turn on 14. Now that was the general's turn. It's going to put it on the initiative order on his turn at 7.
Poor Adrex.
He tells you that now that you've freed him, as soon as he crushes your windpipe, the surviving matriarchs will take him back into their good graces.
Which language does he say that in?
In Yuan-ti. And
Red'll
he
saying.
kind of turns his head to Raazu and says, "But it was a good fight, though."
And Red'll say in common, "Just stab him."
First, deal some damage to Red. 6 points of bludgeoning damage as he starts crushing your throat. Raazu,
Is that an attack? Is that an attack?
I'm sorry?
Is that an attack or just an ability?
That's just damage that's happening because you have a hand around your throat crushing you.
Okay.
He attacked is he still within 5 feet of me? Brooker?
I'm trying to think. Yeah, sure.
Sentinel? Will that apply?
Sorry, what are you doing?
Sentinel, does that apply?
Yeah, he made it attacking us Red.
Alright then. Hit him with the whip. That is a 23 to hit.
That'll hit.
7 damage. Slashing damage.
Okay, and he stutters under the blow. And then you get to take your actual turn.
Yep. Raazu
Wow,
switches the
6
trident and attempts to run him through. That's a nat 20.
Is there going to be more thunderclaps?
Yep, there's going to be one more.
Do you understand how upset Adrex is going to be if you finish killing this Goliath before he gets back into the room?
That is 19 piercing damage,
Okay.
20 thunder damage.
20 thunder damage. Red, you feel the fingers around your throat go slack as this Goliath almost doesn't understand what happened as he feels his bones crack and shudder inside of his own ribcage as his thunder damage is applied. He falls forward. Red, you're pinned to the ground underneath this husk of a Goliath.
Mm-hmm.
Raazu speaks into his ear as he's dying and says, "Pick the wrong side."
At the sound of the thunderclap, Adrex comes running back in and looks at the pit and just says, "Not cool, guys. Really not cool." Can't believe you're fighting in the pit without me.
Raazu sighs, clambers up out of the pit. Where's the bear man in all this?
He has not moved position. He's still where he was in the pit. He looks very weakened, like he would have difficulty moving. He's clutching this scimitar and eyeing anybody who comes near him very skeptically, except for Red, who broke his manacle.
Adrex, get down here. And I'll say to him in common, I'm gonna have our doctor patch you up real quick.
Adrex slides on into the pit.
This is almost as good as fighting. It's like reverse fighting because you're getting rid of wounds.
Adrex just gives a really nasty look at Red.
Scaling in the mountains is the exact opposite of fighting in the pits.
It's relatively quiet in here for the moment, but you probably don't have more than a minute or so.
Yeah, Adrex binds his wounds.
Okay, go ahead and make a medicine check.
Medicine check.
While Adrex is doing that, Raazu says we ran into your brother. He's out there waiting for you.
It's a 13.
13? Okay, and how many charges of your healer's kit do you use? And I always forget how healer's kit works. So.
I can only use one. I can only use one charge on him.
Okay, and how many hit points does he get back?
I think it's 1d6 plus 4.
Okay, go ahead and roll that. Looking at his wounds, most of his wounds are along his legs.
The NPC gets 10 hit points back.
Okay. And you bind these up and patch them up as best you can and get him to his feet. He still moves with some difficulty. When Raazu mentions his brother, he turns towards her. Tell me that fool has not entered the city.
He backed out.
He was under the city.
He was under the city, hatching a plan to rob the matriarch's blind. It seems to have succeeded.
Will you take me to him?
I think I can manage that.
And he starts pulling himself up out of the pit. What is the goal from here?
Like we get the. I think what we need to do is we're gonna try and attune to the stuff and see if we can't.
You're gonna try to take an hour to do that?
Yeah, that's the only thing I'm worried about is what's gonna happen in an hour. In an hour's time.
I don't think that's an option.
No, we should go kill the remaining loyal taskmasters.
So I heard some interesting news, which is that some of the matriarchs here, according to this man, are actually loyal to your god. Do you think that we could pick them out? And are they still pro-slavery? Just real quick.
Shouldn't be.
Okay, great. Because I was going to have to kill them otherwise. So we pick them out, take out the rest of the matriarchs that aren't left. We've got this man here who is miraculously survived, who can distract some of the soldiers.
No, you don't have him.
Oh, he disappeared. Damn it.
No, he's not there.
Your plan worked too well.
He escaped.
He's off living happily for
He's off living happily forever.
He has a flower shop and many beautiful daughters.
He's on a farm somewhere upstate. And we can take out the remaining matriarchs and try to end this as peacefully as possible, and then the scientists can help us find the cache of poison, which definitely isn't underneath this pit. And I'll say that while staring straight at the scientist, unsettlingly.
Okay. Tatsushi looks at the rest of you. He says, there's still slaves in the room that seem to be listening intently. And he says, shouldn't you cut them loose and send them away?
Raazu nods
He tells you that
to that.
some will no doubt rush outside and join the fighting. Others may rush back to their masters to report what they've seen. You can't trust them. You don't know if they're for or against you.
Right.
Red Star
We
or
don't
not.
know.
We don't know, but we just have to do the good thing as Adrex starts cutting them loose.
I mean, with an insight check, would I actually have a chance of asking them a question, seeing if I think they're lying?
Go ahead and make an insight check, Red.
Yep.
Reading this guy carefully as he's talking about these slaves and how they might react.
That would be a 27.
He doesn't care which side these slaves are on or what they might do when they
Obviously.
leave here.
He's just trying to keep us busy.
He's trying to get rid of the slaves because he's about to tell you where this cache is. And it's too dangerous for these slaves to know.
But can I figure out if individual slaves would be loyal to their masters or not?
That would be too difficult. It's in the heat of the moment here because
Okay.
these slaves would tell you anything they think you want to hear.
Okay.
Yeah,
Right,
that'd be
yeah. I'll start cutting them free though.
We just do
Yeah.
what we can to make the world a little bit better, and if it goes sour along the way, we'll deal with it then.
You
Yeah.
can just assume that some of these slaves will work towards your purposes and some will work against them after you send them out.
Yeah.
If we had the time to take an hour, I could ensure that they don't, but unfortunately, we don't have an hour.
We have moments at best, so
Yeah.
Adrex is already starting to free some of them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. As the last slaves leave, Tatsushi tells you he's starting to give commands, actually. Starting to kind of give you guys orders to set to work barring the doors into the pit so that no one can enter.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll play along.
Yeah, all right.
As long as he gives orders that are reasonable.
Adrex,
Yes, sir.
he requests your help moving some weapon racks out of the way that are up against this wall. Large shelves of just very badly kept weapons. These are the kind of things they might throw to slaves in the pit for amusement. Rusted spears and blunted swords and this kind of thing.
Adrex goes over. He says, "How do they expect people to fight with these things? That's terrible."
And he tells you that they
That's
don't.
the point.
They expect them to die miserably.
Bond.
He shows Adrex how to affix his boot to one part of where this rack is affixed to the floor and twist in a particular way while lifting. And he says it'll come free if you do that.
Yeah, and Adrex mimics that.
And it takes some strength. Like, you're pretty sure that this is not something Tatsushi would be able to do, but one of the Yuan-ti abominations perhaps could do it. And with great effort, you slide this rack out of the way. And it pivots. And in the floor, he bids you to brush the dust away.
Yeah. Adrex brushes the dust away.
And in doing so, you realize that under here is not stone floor, but heavy wooden planks. He asks how long it will take you to pry those up.
Adrex grabs one and yanks.
Just grabs it with his claws and yanks it out.
Yeah.
Let's make a strength check. We'll see
Like
how.
I have a
Everyone has a crowbar.
Everyone has a crowbar, but we've got a dragon bar.
This could go either way. Like, Adrian could just wrench this up like it's nothing, or he could fail hilariously. And either way, it would be
It's,
fun.
13.
13. You don't have a lot of leverage on this plank because you're not using a crowbar. But you managed to splinter part of it. And you can keep getting in this way, grabbing it and splintering it out. Would definitely be easier with a crowbar.
Which one of you walks up behind Adrex, taps him on the shoulder with the crowbar?
that'd probably be Birdie.
Yeah, that's a Birdie thing to do.
Tatsushi explains that he wanted to keep this in a place where the matriarchs and the upper echelons of the Malisons tend not to go. The fighting pits are more of a lowbrow sort of area in the city. As Adrex is prying this up. And there's a cavity down here with 8 ceramic jugs with wax stoppers plugging up the tops of them. And he tells you be careful with those. Of course, you've seen what they can do.
Yep.
Adrex, he's peering over your shoulder, and he points one out to you and says, that one there, I believe I'll take as my payment.
How do you destroy these?
He turns back to Red. And Red, he describes the complicated process by which you can neutralize and destroy this substance. Which to your ears sounds like it'll be a lot easier to carry out because you have a Dragonborn that can belch ice underneath the water to help neutralize it while you set to work doing this complicated formula. Essentially, you're going to be making an intelligence poisoner's kit check.
Okay.
For each of these jugs to see if you can safely dispose of it. Or you can keep it. I mean, it's yours, whatever you want to do with it.
Yeah.
Adrex hoists one of the jugs out.
Okay.
Gives a uneasy stare at Tatsuyoshi and hands it over.
Tatsuyoshi takes it in his arms. And now there's just the matter of getting him safely out of the city. And at this point, you hear this door loud banging on the other side of it as somebody's trying to break their way in.
How do we even transport these things?
By hand. You got 2 of them. Let's go.
Birdie sighs and picks up one of the jugs.
Birdie's going to have to carry one of these things in 2 arms, but everybody else can hold a jug in each hand. If you hold a jug in both hands, though, you're not going to be able to take any other action without dropping or setting them down.
Head out this way, right?
Yeah, I think that's our best call.
All right.
Now remember that Tatsuyoshi, his daughter, and Arcadios can't breathe underwater.
I'll use the wand on them. They can now.
Okay, and you explain to them what's happening?
Yes.
And what is your egress from the city?
We don't know where it goes. I think we're leaning towards this one. I mean, I guess I can ask Tatsoshi's. Is the lab safe to evacuate through? Or do we need another point of exit? Have you cleaned that up?
He tells you that parts of the lab are dangerous because of the fire. But if you have the ability to breathe in water, then he expects all of the catacombs underneath to be safe to traverse.
Do we want to go through the mystery tunnel we don't know, or go back to the lab?
I think back to the lab, since they're...
Definitely no.
I think one of us.
afraid of the lab.
But we also need to escort our bearman friend to his brother.
Who is up here, isn't he? He's up here waiting, isn't he?
He has a rendezvous point in the tunnels somewhere to the north.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Might have to split up then, but I think we can handle that.
So we're going to head out through the lab?
Yeah, I think that makes most sense.
We can circle around and meet up with them.
Okay.
Yeah.
The lab is unguarded. Whoever was standing guard at the lab would have seen the commotion down in the ravine and either been ordered away to more pressing matters. And you see the fighting does begin to subside as you come up the switchback leading to the entrance into the lab. As one faction or the other, you're not sure which, starts to get things under control. The fighting begins to die down.
Hey, Wendy.
Yeah.
There's a Dragonborn on the wall on the opposite side of the city. He was on our side. Can you go see if he got out safe, or if he's still holding up, or what?
You got it.
I told him to be on the lookout. Actually, I think Raazu told him to look out for an Aarakocra, so.
When you're going to fly across and do that?
Yeah, but real quick. I'll drop back to talk with Red for a moment,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll say, Red, you're absolutely not letting that scientist get away with that jar, right?
No, I mean, you don't actually believe that thing that Birdie agreed actually holds you to anything morally, right?
No, absolutely not.
Okay,
I just want to
so
make sure
you
we're
and
on the
me.
same page.
Right, I need someone else to be in his face when I go for my dagger.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. And I'll go wing off to go talk to that Dragonborn.
And you find him on the section of wall that Red indicated, and it proved to be a fairly easy place for him to hold because they've managed to barricade these stairs, and there's no other way up. What do you tell him when you land? He's not hostile towards you. He was told to watch for you coming.
I ask him if he can tell who's getting the upper hand in the fighting. It seems like it's ending.
He tells you that he doesn't intend, he motions to the few men that he has on the wall with him, other fighting slaves, don't intend to stay and find out. No doubt, whichever side of this factioning, whatever happens, former slaves are not going to fare well. His
That's
task
fair
is
enough.
to escape out of the wall, but he was waiting on his friend. He asks you what became of Arcadios, if you know.
Is Arcadius the general?
He's the bear.
No.
Oh, I say my allies are currently getting the bear outside of the city. Why, are you friends?
He nods. He explains that he and Arcadios were two of the taskmasters that were attempting to escape.
I say there's a meeting place with his brother up over to the north. I can kind of describe it to you. His brother seems fairly well set up, and I understand he's come into a lot of money recently. He might be able to help you and yours get a good start with his brother.
He nods then. He says he wishes you safe travels.
Right.
And then he and his men start hoisting themselves over the wall and making clear of the city. So, question 1. What do you guys do with Tatsushi?
I mean, I'm pretty sure Wendy and I just stab him at some point.
As I expected.
Do you do this in front of Adrex?
Birdie would lead Adrex away.
Leave
I
the
think-
compass in the group away.
Yeah, no, I think Red would wait for a moment when Adrex isn't around. That seems actually reasonable.
Tetsushi went to a farm up north.
He's with that guy.
So the consensus, except for Adrex, is to betray Tatsushi and kill him and not let him get away with his jug.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Raazu has no strong opinion one way or the other.
I mean,
Okay.
it's pretty clear this guy is less Otacon and more Huey.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Very much so.
So,
So if he told you he liked anime,
I don't know. It depends on the
Well,
anime.
She told me the poison made puppies and rainbows. There's no way they'd ever use it as a weapon.
the poison's my friend. I taught at Street
I don't
Fighter.
know. I just feel like he can't be that smart if he didn't see this coming. So I don't trust him with that poison.
He put a roar
Poison
button
gave
in
you
the
a hint.
poison.
What do you
Was
do
it
with
get-
his daughter, who is...
What can I learn? Like, I can talk to her, so what can I actually learn about her? Like, what do I think her intentions are right now, aside from following her father?
Is this before or after you kill her father?
Before I kill her father.
Which is going to happen, but not yet.
The question is more, what do you do with her afterwards? Because if you're going to kill him, she's going to try to protect him.
I'll say I'd rather not kill you, but... And, yeah, if she doesn't... Like, I'll tell her she's free to go peacefully if she wants.
Okay, so you kill Tatsushi,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and she's gone from your sight afterwards. She tries to protect her father. She can't because she's a non-combatant. And the last you saw of her, she was headed back down the switchback towards the city.
All right. Well,
What do you do with the 9 jugs? I'm sorry, the 8 jugs.
we're absolutely going to destroy the shit out of them.
Yeah.
Where is this
Sounds like with
taking place?
Adrex's health, I can do this underwater.
Are you doing
Which
this
would be
up
safer?
in the lab area, or are you taking them with you somewhere else to do it?
Does the lab have equipment that would make it easier?
No more or less difficult. What you'll be doing, you'll be
Okay.
making an individual intelligence poisoner's kit check for each of these, and you can do these at advantage with Adrex's Ice Breath.
So what I'd like to do in that case is find a tributary of the underwater that doesn't go to what we know to be any civilizations, like away from the Rat Folk's home,
Okay.
and do it there.
Okay. Yeah, you could do that in the vicinity of the lab.
Okay.
Go ahead and make 8
So
checks.
should I start rolling checks? Yep. Poison
Your
kit
DC on each of
plus
these
6.
is 15.
Mm-hmm.
And let me know if you fail any of them.
So I need to get a 9. It's 1. It's 2. It's 3. 4. 5.
There it is.
Let's spend 2 blips.
Okay.
No, I have to remember to mark off those blips. I made that guy fail a save.
Yeah. Should be down to 2 then.
6. Last blips. 7. And that's all of them.
Okay. This takes a few hours of very laborious work as you follow.
It takes at
Tatsoshi's
least 8
instructions.
because Adrex has to recharge his ice breath.
Yeah.
Most of this time, probably Windy and Raazu, I imagine, standing guard at the entrance of the lab to make sure you're not disturbed. And it does
Yeah.
take the better part of a day. And yeah, you managed to destroy all of this substance, wipe it from the earth.
Is there any left in the lab that we have to somehow come up with neutralize? Or do they recollect that and that's in these jars too?
Investigating the lab, coming back up here, you don't find any more traces of it.
Mhm.
It looks like what was up here has already been neutralized, already been destroyed.
Okay.
Let me get my treasure sheet out.
Gosh, I hope Tetsuoshi doesn't release that in Jarred in the wild. That would be terrible.
You guys killed
Yeah, that would be
Tetsuoshi.
just awful.
We killed him.
He's dead.
Adrex doesn't know that.
Shh, GM. He doesn't know.
You think we did the right thing, right?
Oh, absolutely. We definitely did the right thing.
Who wants to roll percentile dice?
I do.
Of course Nodal does.
You
I
reunite
love rolling percentile
Arcadios
dice.
with his brother Pacdot, and after a day or so, you're also joined by the Dragonborn and the other slaves.
65.
Only a handful of people managed to get free from the city. But obviously they're overjoyed. And Pacdot, for your part in freeing his brother from bondage, gives you part of the treasure that he stole. What was that
Oh,
percentile
that's
roll?
nice of him.
That was 65.
65.
Does that mean we get 65% of it?
That means we get 65 punches.
Oh no, he pegged out some monk.
Who wants to roll a d4?
I'll roll a d4.
Of course he will.
3.
All right. Roll some... Roll
Initiative?
percentile, Russell.
Initiative.
Roll initiative.
Oh god, it's more gold. No.
It's not gold. He likes gold. He's not giving you any of his gold.
That's good. It would just be Misfits anyway.
That's a 14.
He gives you a potion of superior healing. Roll percentile again.
22.
22
Yeah.
is a random spell scroll, which I'll generate for you. Go ahead and roll one more time.
90.
90.
Is it
Okay. I don't know what this is. Let's find out.
It's a
together.
gun. It's a gun.
He hands you what looks at first like a small bracelet that would fit a very slender wrist, like too slender for Raazu. Just this, some kind of metallic wiring, bronze or copper wire. Very malleable. And it has... Roll a d4.
2.
It has 6 quarter-inch black spheres on it. Very hard to the touch. Kind of like pearls, almost.
Mm-hmm.
Strung together on this loop of wire. He tells you that it's a pretty thing. The potion and the scroll he hands you because he has no use for magical guff. But he knows that Birdie likes that sort of thing.
Birdie, did you guys take that down?
How much is
We
superior
don't
healing
know the
potion?
yet.
How much healing is a
Not
superior
sure.
potion?
We can worry about that later.
Okay.
And then scroll whatever letter we're up to.
Yeah, I've got to enter that into my sheet right here.
And then a bracelet with 6 black stones on it.
It's going to be scroll I. And I can make you the rune for scroll I before, like while I'm adding up experience today if you want.
Thank you, Bricker.
Yeah.
Can I use the legend lore stone on the bracelet?
No, I'm using the Legend Lore Stone on the bracelet. I will bite you.
Don't we have to use the legend lore stone? Right in.
We're gonna use it on everything.
I have to roll to see if any of these items are cursed.
I want to use a stone.
So you're legend loring the bracelet?
Yeah.
When are you taking time to do this?
Probably the next day on our way back.
Okay. What is your... You guys are still in very... Even though you're free of the city, whichever way you decide to travel from here is very treacherous territory. Are you taking the freed slaves, Pactot and Arcadios and the Dragonborn and his few men to safety, or are you just wishing them well and sending them on their way?
I would rather take them to. I'd rather take them, escort them to safety.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
We should probably roll.
Yeah, yeah. I was just about to say that. How's Rolf doing?
Well, Rolf didn't come with you on this mission. Rolf, as far as I know, is still back at the Degdecairns.
Oh, I have to return this spike too.
Yeah, same.
Yeah,
You're not actually
I'm
here.
still in
Adrex.
corporal.
I want to use the stone, and then he disappears.
So the question is really, are you bringing these freed slaves back to the Warrens?
Would they do from what the time we've spent there? Would they be hostile to us? Just bring them with us, along the way, basically.
Would the rats be hostile, you mean?
Yeah.
When you left the rats, the last thing you had done was free the white snake.
Oh, yeah, that sounds like us.
So you're not really sure what to expect when you go back there. Because on one hand, you've completely disrupted the burrow, or the Swallower's city. But on the other hand, you did also free their prisoner that they were looking forward to executing.
But did they know that we did it?
Anybody could have done that.
So do you guys want me to just sneak back in and spikes? Or we could give them to Adrex and he could end his spell.
Yeah.
Is that how
Well, then
that
Adrex would have to get out.
Well,
Then
Adrex has to
Adrex-
get out anyway. He's there. That is.
Yeah, Adrex is kind of there already.
We just leave Adrex there forever, and we just take this projection with us.
Okay. Wendy, using legend lore.
Yeah.
I don't feel the need to really rile up the rat folks. So as long as we have sufficient provisions, I'll suggest we can camp outside of the Warren, within a day's march or so.
This is a cool goddamn magic item. I don't know if I should give this to you guys.
Good job, Nodal.
I don't know if you guys deserve something this cool.
It's cursed.
We almost
It's
definitely do not.
Wendy,
freaking cursed.
you receive visions of particularly unruly slaves amongst the Yuan-ti. Unruly, but valuable, like strong fighter types that need to be broken. And the Yuan-ti lead them out into a field. An open field, where you're pretty sure like these orcs and bugbears, Dragonborn, would have the speed advantage over land. They're granted weapons, and they're told to flee across the field. And if they haven't been captured by sundown, they have their freedom. 8 of them lined up, given arms. And they set out across the field. And the Yuan-ti don't immediately give chase. They seem very, very calm, like they know what's about to happen next. And one by one, several of them take these lengths of beads that they have, pluck one from the strand, and throw it towards the escaping slaves. And each time it hits, the bead expands in an explosion, creating a wall of force around them from which there's no escape. One by one, the Yuan-ti come up on these now enclosed slaves and essentially roll them back in these hamster balls, breaking their spirits, letting them know there is no escape from this bondage. You snap back, and in your hand you're holding this bracelet which has 6 of these beads still on it. At one point it must have had dozens and dozens. They are beads of force. So yeah, you guys will have some fun with those, I shouldn't think. Those are in the DMG. You should have a description in there. They're essentially on-demand walls of force that you throw at people.
Is it in Ozaluk's resilience sphere?
It's just bead of force.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the item is called the Bead of Force. You can break it from the inside with some kind of check, but...
I think we should at least try legend lore on the panpipes just to maybe get a more complete picture and figure out if we need to destroy both the whip and the pipes to end these things' influence, or if just destroying one would be fine.
Well, let's start
Well,
here.
I think no matter
Who's taking the beads, so I know who has them.
I don't know. I figured Raazu, because she generally likes throwing things at people.
Yeah, sure, I'll take it.
Okay.
6 beads of force, you said?
Yes.
All right. I will add that to my list of stuff. Oh, it's already in the Wonders item list. Nice.
And where we will end it this week is as you take your leave of the slaves, wherever this happens to happen, whether you take them to safety in the foothills or in the swamps nearby, if you take them back to the Warrens. The Dragonborn, the former taskmaster, the one that was holding the wall, tells Red he doesn't know which faction holds the city now, but he believes through your actions you've disrupted the building of their ladder.
Were any of the slaves that you were tasked with in that?
He says this was not work for slavers. This was work for high matriarchs, great priestesses. They were doing blood rituals with their own, with Malisons, to bring this about.
I wasn't sure if you would need to provide them with materials or what.
He tells you that this was strictly Yuan-ti work. This was not, the specifics of it was never trusted to even the purebloods in the city.
Well, I hope so. Otherwise, we're gonna have to go back there.
What is it?
Okay, so yeah, when I get back to the group, I'll point out. Oh, by the way, so you know how the red star, and I'll kind of point up on the horizon. It might be in the middle of the day, so it's too bright to see it. It's probably about there, right?
Sure.
So, and you know how most living gods, you can just go. You have to go into their realm, right? Like with Birdie's dragon, you would just go to the dragon hole. It's a hole in the ground, right?
Okay.
So everyone was talking about constructing a stair. So my suspicion is that they were doing some sort of magical ritual in order to allow the demon to come down or allow them to ascend up to the star.
Adrex gives a really confused look. He goes, "That would be a massive staircase."
All I know from my own time being indoctrinated into the religion is that it's beyond even the flight of someone like Windy here.
So wait, so like it's super up in the sky?
You would
Are you
ascend to the
sure?
sky.
How do you know that it's there? Like, how do we know it's not fake, like Raazu's god?
Raazu Raazu looks visibly angry at that.
I don't know. I haven't ever seen it myself, but again, I've been granted visions by Execune, so.
If they're building a ladder, why are they starting? That just hinders their progress.
Raazu walks up to Wendy and says, "You have one chance to take that back."
Take what back?
Roll initiative.
All right.
What is Raazu doing?
Raazu's about to punch Wendy.
Okay, that
Raazu's
happens.
not a 12. You gotta beat a 12.
Yeah, I got
You
a
do.
19.
Wendy, you're probably just jetting out of the way as Raazu takes a heavy swing at her.
Yeah, just what? I'm sorry. What?
Don't you dare call my god fake again.
Only. I'm sorry. Like, not fake, but not here.
To be fair, Wendy, she did come back from the dead.
Yeah, but like. Okay, so clearly something happened, right? But not the same sort of god, right? Because like you can't go see her, right, Raazu?
I mean,
like Raazu. Maybe I'm not using the right words. Maybe not fake, but like
Raazu's not.
it can't be the
paying attention to you
same
anymore.
type of god, right?
It's a dead god. Maybe you can see her if you die.
Wait.
If it's a spiral staircase, you get really dizzy. Like,
I get the sense that I could just mute the microphone and just quietly walk away, and 3 hours later, you guys would still be going.
Yeah, probably.
I'm trying to wind the session down. He's like, roll initiative.
I wasn't intending for it to go to full combat. I'm just like, Raazu's not going to let that stand.
I don't know. I don't think you could win that fight.
No, clearly not. When she just flies away and we never see her again, that's fine.
I'm going to express my disappointment that I specifically, in the Metal Gear Adventure, wrote in all these NPC references to a ladder, and nobody made a Snake Eater joke. What's wrong with all of you?
I think it went without
I
saying.
think we made at least 2 Snake Eater jokes last week.
I posted the straw poll link in the chat. I have to go dark so I can add up some experience and stuff, guys. So go ahead and think about where we want to distribute our blitz. I'll be back in 3 or 4 minutes.
I
So
really
watch your
want-
punches. I'll drop you down a pit. I'll drop everyone down a pit. You all go down a pit.
I still wanted to try and get Legend Lore done on stuff because we're still way behind on that.
We'll deal with that starting this session. All right,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
badass.
Raazu did jump down into the pit and challenge.
Yeah,
him
I was
down.
gonna go for Raazu.
All right, so Raazu for jumping into the pit.
I think
All right.
Raazu for preventing the general Goliath's head off unceremoniously.
No, that was
Yeah,
a very
it was our
specific
job.
Goliath.
It was our job.
I'm glad how nobody nobody made any comment that the general was obviously not our enemy. Of course, that's probably my fault. I did shoot him in the back.
He was.
Yeah, you kind of did fuck that up.
Yeah.
He said assassins from the Red Star, which means he would have been on the Couatl side.
Oh, I thought the Red Star was.
They both live in the Red Star, so it's actually kind of hard.
Yeah, I thought it was the
Both
same
demon
thing.
and the snake.
Listen, at least
Whatever you need to justify
Raazu's God is
to-
understandable.
Whatever you need to say to justify yourself to be able to sleep at night.
All right,
We
so
all know
next,
Red is absolutely no problem sleeping.
next, who is most helpful?
Adrex.
For?
Training Red how to do combat superiority dice.
Yeah, absolutely. No, absolutely. Okay, so
We
next,
wanted to give that to you last week.
Brick wouldn't let.
Brick wouldn't let us. Creative? Who's creative?
Wendy for that awesome daring plan that saved the gentleman.
No, that was Adrex's plan. We were very clear about this.
All right, Adrex.
So that could be Adrex's helpful to the party. Adrex's amazing plan.
I'm okay with giving Adrex both. You're like behind on levels, right?
Yeah, you
No.
did miss a session last week.
I don't think I'm that behind.
Whatever. You're.
Oz is honestly the one that's probably most behind.
Yeah, I've been here every session up until then.
So we'll give you 2 to Adrex and 2 to Raazu. How does everyone feel about that?
Yeah.
Raazu for what's good that Raazu did?
We've already called the badass
Well, yeah, but no,
Intangibles.
it's 2 things.
for
Intangible.
intangibles.
Yeah.
I mean, I think just for running the guy
taking
through after that.
Or taking a swing at Wendy.
No, that's terrible. I don't want to recommend that to anyone.
I vote in favor of that.
I thought it was funny.
I will drop you
Yeah.
down a cliff.
Man, suddenly that's the only threat he has to go for now. It's kind of lost its luster now.
Listen, it's extremely effective.
All right.
You have all that potential energy, and you convert it into force.
All right. Let me get my ducks in a row here. All right, Raazu. Do you want to make any of your cases for blips?
Can you come back to me on that? I've got to finish assembling my thoughts. I've been thinking about party blips
Wendy.
and not my
Yeah.
You want to make any cases for blips?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've got monastic tradition redirection for telling Red to use the orc to cause more chaos, essentially sending him back to tell him, hey, we killed the matriarch and we killed this horrible demon, like everything's going really bad. I've got good is working for the benefit of something other yourself for saving the bugbear, even though he had seen us.
Okay.
And I've got our place in the world is to take apart what isn't working and make something that is, for being 100% entirely unwilling to let this scientist go away with that jar.
Okay. Anything else?
Nope, I'm good.
Adrex, what do you have?
I've got flaws. Great idea. When someone suggested that Adrex break down the door, didn't even hesitate. And just like, oh no, that was a bad idea. We should have that alerted everyone, and now the guard on the other side knows that we're there. Aspect, signature style, energetic.
Okay.
There was some combat, and he did 4 attacks, and there was something else, and I totally slipped my mind, but there was that. And I'm gonna make the case for this, and you're gonna say no, but I'll make the case anyway. Ideals, it is my responsibility to bring out the good in people. Adrex would have totally brought out the good in his party members had they shared the plan with him, and deliberately avoided sharing the plan with him to kill Tetsuyoshi, knowing full well that he wasn't going to stand for it.
I take your point, but Adrex didn't do anything in that in
right.
that equation.
Like I said, I was going to make the case, and I figured you'd say no, but
Yeah.
that's all I got.
Okay. Birdie, what do you have?
My alignment, willing to help others but want something out of it, like for making the deal with Tetsuyoshi, knowing full well and wording it in a specific way that I wouldn't be responsible killing him, because knowing full well that Red would do it.
Okay.
For the accumulation of magical knowledge is something that makes me most useful to my tribe, and etc. etc. My ideal for when you said, "Oh, these people can't breathe underwater," and I just immediately used the wand to cast water breathing on them.
Okay.
And then the video. That's all I have.
Okay. Red, what do you have?
Alright, so I've got alignment, neutral good, survival requires the greatest good for the greatest number, destroying the poison to prevent, the goobag problem.
Okay.
I've got ideal, cold hard logic, will not suffer to argue with others who are motivated by something as fleeting as a motive for letting Tetsoshi's daughter go, since, there really wouldn't have been any logical reason to kill her.
Mm-hmm.
I've got we've got flaw. It's often best to do what needs to be done. Explaining it to the others would be a waste of time for just stabbing the matriarch before really anything else happened in that scene.
Okay.
I have bond. I will keep peace and prosperity in my lands, even when it means doing things my companions or I find personally distasteful for killing Tetsuyoshi. And I have adversary Freeing slaves keeps pissing people off. I think that's self-explanatory.
You did piss a
I
lot.
don't think it came up.
So here's the thing: is survival requires the greatest good for the greatest number. Like, yeah, you saved a lot of people by destroying all that poison, but if you would let Tetsushi keep his jar, he would have discovered the cure for cancer. So,
What kind of cancer?
Raazu,
Goo
what you
bag
got?
cancer?
Wow, Adrex is excited for that.
Raazu, speak now or forever hold your peace.
All right, I've got my traits vanished on me. Okay, there they are. When my anger is roused, I have trouble thinking straight, and I fear I might do something I'll regret for taking a swing at Wendy for insulting her god.
Okay.
That was that was not cool, Wendy. Please don't do that again. Alignment, good and evil, subjective distinctions. What matters is keeping to your own ethics. She once the Goliath turned coat and tried to do his Asa plot. Raazu wasted no time in running him through.
Okay.
Her bond, sword arm, is only the beginning of a great world, but is a necessary first step. By sending a message to everyone in the room, going after the general with her whip intentionally for the reason to say, no, these guys aren't top dogs, and the sooner you guys realize it, the better off you'll be.
Okay.
And then finally, her flaw: I take any advantage I can if it will aid my allies, regardless of the consequences, for telling Red to unlock the Goliath's manacles, even though he was going to turn coat.
All right. We give one blip for the most creative solution to a problem this session.
That was Adrex for the most cunning and genius plan ever.
Which got that guy out safely?
Who furthered the party's goals the most?
That was...
Also Adrex, I think?
I think that was also Adrex for...
Oh, I must have disconnected there.
Destil, do you remember why we gave that one to Adrex?
Wait, what happened?
Aiding the party.
My connection is breaking.
The assist blip. Who furthered the
Yeah.
party's goals the most this session?
We're giving it to Adrex, I just don't remember.
We're giving it to
exactly.
Adrex for being very helpful. I don't remember exactly why.
Was it for the destroying the goo bags? That wasn't that, was it?
Sure. I mean, that was very helpful.
Yeah.
Alright.
Like, Red wouldn't have been able to take an attempt at that if he hadn't done that.
I give one blip for being the badass.
Raazu for jumping into the pit and taking the and challenging the general head one-on-one, even though it turned out to not be one-on-one.
And one blip for intangibles.
We gave that one to Raazu for running the general through immediately afterwards, and definitely not for taking a swing at Wendy, which I can strongly say I do not support.
It was Goliath, not the general, but okay.
And Raazu takes our straw poll this week as well. Probably for taking a
thank
swing at
you.
Wendy, which everybody says.
Yeah, I think that's
No, nobody supports that. Everyone hates that.
I don't know.
Oh, I didn't finish adding up experience. I was about to short you guys' experience.
That would have been rude.
How much experience is Wendy worth?
0.
Because she ran away.
Right.
Blips are worth 500 still, correct? Nobody's leveled since last session?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Raazu, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 blips.
Wow, how did that happen?
Must have cheated.
Wendy, 1,
Must
2,
have.
3. Just 3 for Wendy. I've got 4 for Adrex, 2 for Birdie, and 5 for Red. I was going to award everybody 1 blip for safely getting the scientist away, but you guys killed him, so we're not doing that.
But how much EXP is he worth?
Everybody's getting 1 blip for assassinating the matriarch, completing that task.
Mm-hmm.
Awarding everybody 1 blip for reuniting the brothers.
Balances out.
Birdie, Adrex, and Wendy. 3 of you came together to dispatch 1 bugbear, worth 16 experience points each. Raazu in red, the 2 of you came together to dispatch 1 Malison for 175 experience.
Sure.
Everybody's getting 280 experience for the Malisons you fought in the hallway. 580 experience for the modified Spider of Leng monstrosity back behind the necropolis.
That was scary.
And 540 experience for the skirmish in the fighting pits with the Goliath and the general and everything else. And that's it. When we come back next week, we'll talk some more about this ladder.
That's not
Adrex
ominous.
doesn't like talking about the ladder. It just makes him confused.
Adrex has bad experiences with ladders.
Last time we talked about the ladder, Raazu took a swing at me. I can't approve of it.
Is it a fake ladder, though?
I mean, apparently, maybe.
I'll be back on tomorrow with, I don't know what I'll play. I haven't decided yet. Probably more Final Fantasy something or other. And I'll see everybody else next Sunday.
Later.
See ya.